But thanks for sharing the platform or letting me share the things. Mamta Ben, you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are very pleased and honored to have with us Daaji, belovedly called Daaji, Shri Kamlesh Patel, who is also alumni of our institute as a chief guest for our function today. And I would like to request, we have Shri Kamlesh Patel joined with us, and I would like to request our principal, Dr. M.T. Chabaria, to please introduce him.
Thank you, Mittal bhai. I've been given a responsibility of introduction of a personality. Actually, we do not need any introduction. He is known to many across the world. Respected Sri Kamlesh Bhai Patel, which is loudly known as Daaji to many, is a modern day yogi of caliber, is brought together the best of the ancient tradition of yoga and modern science to offer a set of remarkable meditative practices known as heartfulness. He currently oversees 14,000 certified trainers who offers these practices to millions of people in 160 countries, combining the best of the East and the West in his approach. Daaji is a family man who built a pharmacy business in New York City over 3 decades after graduating with honors from LM College of Pharmacy in 1980. He started his spiritual practice very young in life, and in 2014 became the fourth in the century-old lineage of masters of Sahaj Marg. In spreading heartfulness practices around the world, Daaji is a silent change maker, facilitating social transformation and reform through personal transformation. Heartfulness has been taken up by people from all walks of life, including millions of students and professionals around the world. Daaji's love of nature has resulted in the plantation of millions of trees and the establishment of thriving regenerative communities as part of the Heartfulness Green Movement. With this short introduction of the very renowned personality, and I will proudly say the alumnus of the LM College of Pharmacy, I request him to bless us to begin this celebration of 75th year of our alma mater, LM College of Pharmacy. Daaji, please.
My hearty pranams. Only persons I recognize on the screen are Dr. CJ Shishu sir. Kindly accept my humble pranam, sir, and my junior friend, Dr. Kashyap Bhatt. Honorable, respected Sri Sabaria ji, Mamta ji, and all my friends and elders. Dr. Chabaria has over-introduced me. I am not a personality of any sort. I am a humble servant of God. We all meditate together This journey started sometime in 1976 when I was a third year student at LMCP. But I must share with you some very humane aspect of Dr. Seshu before I go further on this. We have had beautiful professors. I mean, heart melts out whenever we think of them and their help over and above those academic classes. I give a small example. I had trouble getting a hostel admission, and I also had difficulty paying the fees. I came from a very humble background from Bharuch district, and I requested Seshu sir, I will pay after 6 months. Can you allow me to stay in the hostel? He immediately wrote a note and allowed me to stay there in block number J. I mean, you're all familiar with that block. And soon the journey started. We started, in the third year meditation, and a lot of my friends, my classmates especially, and juniors, started meditating and seeing the changes in our academic progress. Few professors also got inclined, and especially Dr. Pathak. Unfortunately, he's no more, but his wife, Dr. Chauhan, Malti Ben, also our principal and dean, Srimati Bhanuben, they all started meditating with us, seeing the changes in the students, and how beautiful the system is, how simple the system is, and how non-orthodoxal it can be. The movement started right after this slow introduction, little drop by drop, river begins and the sea is formed. And that's what we are observing today with Heartfulness. It has captured more than 160 countries throughout the world, and it thrives, spreading the Indian message of that God is one. If Jesus and Allah and Buddha and all those guys start fighting, where will the world be today? And we fight for no reason on forms. Even during Lord Krishna's time, how many people understood him? Not even one. During Prophet Muhammad's Sahab's time also, may peace be upon his soul, he had to run around from Makkah to Medina, Medina to Makkah. Poor fellow was chased for his life. He had to protect his life from his own people. No great personality's life was at peace. I think the Indian culture has accepted all, and we have become a spiritual melting pot, the way the United States has become the melting pot of so many cultures. India had also absorbed Islamic culture, Vedic cultures, Christianity. We have absorbed Buddhism, Jainism, you name it. All the flourishing religions have melted in one pot, and we are learning the best of all. While reading Gita, I was very moved by Lord Krishna's very simple advice that every soul, every individual in this world, they're seeking happiness. You can never be happy despite of the wealth, because more the wealth, more restless you become. That doesn't mean we have to give up the wealth. You need wealth for your well-being. Money may not be everything, but it is something without which you cannot even support a simple yogic life as well. And restless life, despite of having everything, cannot grant you happiness. The root of happiness are in peace of mind, where the mind remains more contemplative and focused. And this is granted through a practice of meditation. See, what we offer, what we learn in pharmacy college, it's all about medicine from all kinds of stuff, not only what we call chemically manufactured, but also extracted from various herbs. The root of medication and meditation is the same. Medica, meditate, is to heal an individual. At a medicinal level, we are trying to heal what we call the physical and mental. We also offer great amount of emphasis on nutrition, balanced diet. Both combining keeps our physical and mental health in normalcy. But swasthya, as we speak about in our literature, in our Indian tradition, swa-asthya means one who is settled within oneself, one who is centered within the self. Despite of mental agony, despite of headaches, such people will remain centered within. And they are not moved despite of troubles. They are in fact able to handle more and more troubles with aplomb, with ease, and with a smile. When we focus so much on the physical body, there is nothing wrong with it. We need to maintain the physical health. As we say, exercise, well nutrition, and when you fall sick, good amount of healing medicine. What about the brain, our mind? How do we enrich our minds? We contemplate, we reflect, we interact with our elders and learn from each other. That is mental enrichment besides physical enrichment. But often in this topsy-turvy world, we forget the main fundamental principle, the spiritual component, the soul aspect. How are we going to nourish the healing or the troubled soul? Falling at the feet of a statue, which is so neutral, at a murti, visiting a temple. It is like you're going to latrine and let go of your, discomfort. Are you really healed because of such holy pilgrimages? The true pilgrimage one can have, the true journey one can have is the inner journey. That's what I have learned very early in life. Actually, in 1976, when the second year pharmacy college exams was cleared and then we went for a vacation home, suddenly the urge came upon my heart and said, now I had to take sannyasa like Swami Vivekananda. And I left my home actually. I left in the morning and I visited a temple near Narmada, on the Narmada bank. There's a Shiv temple, Shivji, very old and temple, maybe 400, 500-year-old temple near a place called Supratirth. There, some Aghori Babas were just sitting around and smoking ganja or whatever they were busy with. I spent time with them till the evening. One elderly Aghori Baba comes towards me and says, what are you doing here? I said, can you become my guru and I will serve you and please teach me all this Vedic knowledge, Brahma knowledge. He said, look, my boy, he spoke in Hindi. He said, मैंने तो बड़ी भूल की है, तू ऐसी भूल मत करना, मैंने अभी तक कुछ पाया नहीं है. And he must have been 83, 84-year-old. He was quite honest. He said, I haven't achieved anything. I haven't attained anything. I haven't realized God. I cannot teach you. I regret that I left my home, I left my family suffering. I could have served better and I could have realized even more while at home. Now, if I go back, nobody would recognize me. So he advised me, boy, go back to your home. And I went back home. And the same month, I was advised by another gentleman who was my classmate, rather, Dilip Nayak. He now practices in a place in Chattanooga. He has motel business as well as pharmacy business. He was happy enough. I'm glad and joyful. Kamlesh, you are wasting your time. Come with me. I will help you learn meditation with a person in Ahmedabad. I said, okay, let's go. And that being a Sunday, we went there and she transmitted. This meditation I've been practicing, it is aided with transmission, meaning pranahuti. Now, the way we do the research in medicine, we compare the active molecule API with the placebos and see the effect, whether this is more than 70% better than placebo or not, at least amount of side effect. So when we meditate with pranahuti or transmission, yogic transmission, and when we meditate without this, you can see the clear difference. And I have experimented this many locations, and especially in Philadelphia at Drexel University, where we had 20 students, and I told them to adopt many methods for over 6 weeks and interchange various meditational practices. The students, they really followed it up. And then I said, follow this heartfulness way of meditation, but without transmission. And in the last week, I shared with them, now you meditate with transmission, yogic transmission, and see the impact. Almost all of them, even today, they are practicing. And they say there's a striking difference when you measure EEG graph, electroencephalograph. Then you can see clearly the person meditating instantly goes into a delta wave state. If you like to study more about this, you can visit our site, heartfulness.org, and learn how to enter into this delta state. Delta state is nothing but, as we call in yogic shastra, is a turiya kind of a state, fourth level of consciousness. We are familiar with waking state as we are now. In few hours when you go to sleep, you begin with REM sleep and then dream sleep and then deep sleep. So there are only 3 states. In a deep sleep state, the delta wave appears, 3 to 4 hertz per second. Similar thing happens in a deeper state of meditation, with only difference that though the delta waves do appear 3 to 4 hertz per second, unlike sleep where you are unconscious, not aware, but in samadhi-like state, you are still aware. But your mind becomes so calm, but you are fully aware during the phase of meditation, see. And that is what we are offering through Heartfulness. It's very scientific. Even if you are not a believer of God, you may be completely an atheist, doesn't matter. See, when we talk to youngsters today, even why youngsters, even old folks are very skeptical about such things. That, oh, can I actually get into samadhi? Can I even meditate? Every religion has this component of devotion and meditation, whether it is Jainism or Buddhism or Sikhism or Hinduism or Christianity or Islam. Islam also proliferates this idea of muraqabah. Muraqabah is nothing but meditation. Retreating yourself in Christianity, go for a retreat and observe some level of silence and remain connected with your maker, with the Lord. You remain connected with Allah or you connected with the source. It does not really matter what names we call it. It's the source. And the same source is in all of us. The same source. And when we do recognize that the source within me and source within all is the same, then where is the question of fight? So in a very indirect way, in a very practical way, we are bringing about some level of peace, everlasting peace, through understanding, through personal experience, that yes, these are all achievable things. These are not dream things which our shastras talk about, or it's not just dogmatic thing, but it is full of promises and it is full of experiences. When we say, do you believe in God? Everybody says, I believe in God. But I have more, I would say, a belief in a person who says, I don't believe in God. Because such an individual is quite honest. I don't believe in God because I want to experience God. When you ask grandmother or grandfather and say, Papa or Grandma, do you believe in God? She might get even angry and say, why do you ask such questions? Then, but when you ask them, why do you believe in God? Then they would say, I believe because my grandmother told me, my father told me, our shastras talk about it, our religion talks about it. But what do you say about it? Have you experienced? Then they have no words. And that's why youngsters today, they move away from spiritual concepts. They say, what is the proof? But when we talk about, yes, I can offer you proof, I can make you experience godliness in you, then the question changes, you see. And as we move from the heart chakra and go on to different levels of chakras, I think we don't have time here to go and explore more about yogic chakras and evolution of consciousness. That we can leave for another moment. If you like, you can visit our site and learn all about how consciousness evolves, what is the purpose of life, what happens at the time of death, how the soul enters the body. There are many intricate questions which everybody has. They're well taken care of when we do practice all this. And it is not, as I say, it's a bookish knowledge. It's a practical orientation, how practically we can experience these things. And thank God, many chancellors, vice chancellors are coming forward to introduce heartfulness. Even at LMCP, we had a session where a lot of students did participate almost 6-7 months back, virtually, of course. And we can continue. Many classes we can continue. We can have a separate meditation room. In fact, Dr. Sishu sir was very kind enough with the help of Dr. Balara. I don't know if he's still there in LMCP, but at our hostel, in his own room, in Dr. Balara's room, we all, about 20 plus students would come together and meditate. That was our life at hostel, unlike many people going astray. We had a good life that way, you see. It's not that we became lunatic in one direction. We did succeed in every facet of our life, you see, materially and spiritually. If I don't succeed in material life, then I'll become a beggar like sannyasis, moving from house to house. The philosophy in this system is, you must pay equal attention to both facets of our existence. Namely, this Bhautik and Adhyatmik. If you go into Bhautik Jivan so much that you become lopsided and miss out on spiritual life. And you don't go into spiritual life so much that your material life suffers. We need to pay equal attention to it. And fundamental thing I realized that, when we talk of air pollution, water pollution, all kinds of pollutions. And today's youth especially, I'm unfortunately keep saying the word youth, but I don't exclude from here even the old people. Their minds are polluted. The pollution of the mind is the root cause of all kinds of pollutions. Why would an industrialist throw the effluents which are toxic into water underground? Because this is spoiled. Heart is spoiled. Mind is spoiled. That is the root cause of every illness that we face today. And if we can give the gift of how to regulate the mind, I think that is the biggest gift we can give to ourselves, to our family members, our dear ones, the children. It's the biggest gift of life. I thank everyone, and especially Dr. Chhabaria for inviting me. I will not take much of time now. As I said, we have this app also. You don't have to fall at any guru's feet. It's freely available. It's called Heart in Tune. You can download it and you will be assigned personal trainers who can help you meditate. And the most beautiful thing that I've learned from my Guruji is there are no charges. There are no donations, nothing of that sort is involved with this organization. It runs on its own somehow through a lot of willing hearts, generous hearts. So there is no demand of any financial pressure or any of your commitment, except your willingness to transform yourself and become a better human being. Thank you. Thank you once again to everyone. And my hearty pranams to Dr. Shishu sir. Thank you, sir. Seeing you hale and hearty and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a really inspiring talk, and we really feel that our hearts are purified. And I promise we will meditate every day.
Thank you. Thank you.
In fact, one of my very close friends is very closely associated with Heartfulness, Sajanan Nambiar. Probably you know him. So he's from Gujarat.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, very well. In fact, I was, there's the Chandigarh Pharmacy College. What's the name of the professor? Dr. Mehta.
Dr. Katare. OP Katare.
Dr. Katare, right?
Yes, yes.
Dr. Katare.
Yes.
And he sent me recently the innovation product, the newly formulated Itoa like cream. And this new analgesic was so, it is unlike ibuprofen or unlike diclofenac. And they were able to develop this in association with IPCA labs. So I think LMCP will do well if they associate, I don't know, maybe you're already associated with few pharma companies and develop together a new products, just as these companies were able to partner with Chandigarh University. I think we can also come up with many of our alumni who already have industries. They can sponsor formulation or new chemical molecule, new API, and better ways of manufacturing. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Sir, we would like to request you to be joined. I know it's past your bedtime, but we'd like to request you to be with us for another couple of minutes. And we would like you to please unveil the logo for the 75-year celebrations. So we'll just be coming up with that. We also have Dr. Raj Chopra, who is the chief guest overseas for this function. So can I request him also to be there for the unveiling of the logo?
Please.
I'm here.
Dr. Avinash, you can just initiate the process.
Dr. Avinash, it is flickering and going away. Could you please do it again? It just goes off in a flash.
So it will come in. It's a big file, so it takes a little bit of time to do. Just give us a minute.
Dr. Mittal, you try on from your side. His screen is going off.
Yeah, just give us a minute. We are trying to share that video. Just give us a minute.
शेयर हाँ कर रहा हूँ
Yes, it is there.
Yes, now it is visible.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Sorry for the delay and complications. We had a little bit of a strip in bandwidth, so it could not load from here. Thank you very much, Saule sir, for that. So,
Mittal, there are a lot of students waiting to get in, from US. I'm getting a lot of messages. You have to let them in. Thank you.
Sir, yeah, we are open. Everybody can enter from the participant link. Panel is full.
Okay, I'll tell them. Okay.
I'll just paste down the participant link in chat box.
So those who are inside can share it with them.
Ketan,
You can share it with them.
already shared.
Okay, madam. Okay.
You sent an email to all the registered candidates, but you can share with anybody the participant link.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for the concern. We have with us Honorable Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Technological University, and he's also an alumni of our college, Dr. N.R. Sheth. So we would really like blessings from him, and I would like to request Dr. Srinivas Saule to introduce him.
Yeah, good morning, good evening to all. It's my privilege to introduce Professor Dr. Naveen Sheth, who is the Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Technology University. And he has been in this position from 2016. He has actually started his academic career long back in 1979 and has emerged as academician and herbal scientist. He actually graduated in 1978 from LMCP and has a PhD degree from Saurashtra University. He has been member and chairman of various committees of UGC, AICTE, DST, Gujcast, and so on and so forth. So he's a chairman of the board of pharmacy education of AICTE since 2016 and has taken over as vice chancellor of GTU, and GTU is really doing a great job for the education. He actually has been a research scientist at core and has interest in traditional drugs, herbal drugs, and standardization of herbal formulations, and has more than